European markets. They've just opened, haven't they?
That's right, they've just opened. Let's take a look at what the Asian handover was to them, if you like, because Asian markets had a pretty good day based on record high again on the S&P 500 on Wall Street. All of the markets rising except the Hang Seng in Hong Kong, but that Nikkei there was up at 1.8%, which was the highest for 6 years, pretty much. Here in Europe, though, markets are rising as well, but those are the Asian markets. But in Europe, the markets have also been rising, but it's that momentum petering out perhaps a little bit. The CAC 40 just barely up there, as you can see, pretty flat. But staying in France later this Thursday, in fact, we'll get the latest unemployment figures, and the September figure was up by 60,000 to reach 3.29 million. Now, the curve has been rising. As you can see, they're reaching around 11% unemployment. And remember, President Hollande has said that he will get that curve going in the opposite direction by the end of the year. So 6 p.m. this evening, French time, he'll obviously be hoping to see some good news on job figures.
Yeah, indeed. Well, those people who are unemployed as well. Staying in France now, big payouts to company bosses back in the spotlight, aren't they?
They are. Now, we've been talking about this morning, a planned pension payout to the boss at Peugeot Citroën, Philippe Varin, which totaled 21 million euros, where he's decided to hand it back after, or at least have it recalculated after there was this wave of protest. Now, they're known as golden handshakes, these payments. So what exactly are they? Well, Mark Edwards has been taking a look.
They heard the news through their unions or the media. Philippe Varin, the chief executive of PSA Peugeot Citroën, has waived his pension pot. Not a surprise for these PSA employees heading to work.
At least it means we're all in the same hole.
I think it's totally justified, taking into account the current situation of the company. A salary freeze announced for us, for instance.
French President François Hollande also welcomed the decision as wise and inevitable.
It was the only thing to do considering the situation of the company. The efforts, not to say the sacrifices required of Peugeot employees, and also taking into account the guarantee that has been provided by the state to allow Peugeot to continue its activity.
Philippe Varin was in line to receive 310,000 euros a year over a 25-year period after taxes and social security. Peugeot had earmarked 21 million euros to fund the retirement of its outgoing chief exec. The decision was legitimate and ratified by the shareholders, but outraged unions and employees at a time when the company is in trouble and laying people off. But Philippe Varin's case is not an isolated one. These golden handshakes are a standard industry practice in many countries, including France. Essentially, it's a supplementary pension paid by the company and negotiated early on in the contract. France has around 1 million citizens benefiting from this, although in the most part the sums of money are small. Only a few executives obtain handshakes that can be deemed golden. The top three include Lindsay Owen-Jones, the former head of L'Oréal, Sanofi's ex-CEO Jean-René Fourtou, and Alain Joly, who spent his career at Air Liquide. However, facing continued controversy, the government has announced its intention to legislate these golden handshakes.
Now, as you said, Matthew, a little bit earlier, it's Thanksgiving, of course, in the US. Many Americans already waiting in line to pick up their bargains on Friday there, aren't they?
That's right. I mean, traditional day today for eating and gathering, but some Americans deciding to forego that and instead queue up for what's known as Black Friday, biggest shopping day of the year. And as we can see here, these pictures of people who've already set up tents because they want to get hold of some Black Friday bargains. Well, let's listen to a few of them and what they're hoping to get.
Oh, a big TV, a 50 or a 55-inch, either one. I don't care which one I buy.
Corporate America choosing one specific day to just slash prices and have people buy.
All the electronics, camera and laptops.
What a way to spend Thanksgiving, on the pavement, or perhaps I should say sidewalk. For many Americans, though, the problem is more about getting enough food to eat, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. Of course, it's a big eating festival, really, Thanksgiving, but real problem for people who find it hard to get enough food at the best of times. And in fact, the presidential family, the Obamas, were at a food aid centre on Wednesday, helping to hand out food. As you can see here, this is the Capital Area Food Bank, which gives out 20 million kilos of food every year.
Now, there are claims that cuts in the government's food stamp programme are making it even harder for many to put food on the table. This report now from Will Edwards and Delana de Souza.
Former US Marine Leonard Edwards doesn't usually get his Thanksgiving meal from Bread for the City, a Washington, D.C. charity. This year he says he can't afford a turkey of his own. That's because at the start of November, the government subsidy program known as food stamps had its funding cut by 13%. Now Leonard has trouble stretching his budget to the end of the month.
Normally that last week, those last 3 days, I have problems with, you know, what am I going to eat today, that type of thing. But now with that $20 gone, for me, that's like a week's worth of my diet, that $20.
Charities like Bread for the City get many of their supplies here at the Capital Area Food Bank. Covering 11,000 square meters, it's the largest charity distribution center in the region, providing around 38 million meals a year to those in need. With more people getting less in government vouchers, the worry here is they will rely more on charities.
Being that we don't know what's going to happen, we wanted to prepare for the worst, so we have more food in the warehouse to get out into the community.
The recession has come to an end here, but there are still nearly twice as many people using food stamps as there were in 2007. Many in Congress say the system is too expensive and inefficient, and both parties are now calling for further cuts, something most charities disagree with. Those relying on handouts this year hope by next Thanksgiving, affording a family dinner won't be even more of a challenge.
Now, at that point, Matthew thinks he's doing News in Brief, but he's not doing News in Brief because it is Matthew's last day doing this job anyway.
Cut me off there mid.
Isn't it? You were just about to start telling us about bitcoins, but we don't care about bitcoins. Okay. Matthew, you've been doing this for a couple of years.
Yes.
You enjoyed it?
I've enjoyed it very much.
Despite getting up at... Until now. Despite getting up at...
Despite getting up at 2:30.
So will you think of us next week? When
not
we're
at 2:30. No. I'll be sleeping,
a little bit later on. But you're not leaving us all together, are you?
No, I'm not.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to London, going back to London, and I'll keep working for Francis Van Cat from there, reporting from London. So I'm looking forward to that, even if I'm going to miss this and you all very much.
Yeah, we're going to miss him too, I think. No, we are. Honestly, we're going to miss him very, very much. He's been fantastic to work with. And we've just got a little reminder of some of the best bits of Matthew Warren.
Matthew France 24. And don't forget as well, our producer moved, but quite amusing anyway.
Yeah, it was rather.
First of all, tell us, you've got your ear close to the market there. The markets have closed for the day's trading. And look at one who bought themselves a boyfriend pillow with a face painted on so you can hug them.
Who needs a real one?
Big thanks again. Matthew Warren with the business. That's just Matthew with the business. Matthew Warren surfing a baguette.
That's very, very good.
You can thank Georgina for that afterwards.
Thank you, Georgina.
Your wonderful assistant.
It shows me I don't actually have many ties, do I?
They're all the same
three on rotation. Yeah.
Matthew, good luck. From all of us who've been working on the programme, from the people in the gallery pushing all the buttons to all of us who've been working for you as well. Good luck, and we look forward to seeing you in a different guise.
Yes. Thank you. Thanks very much.
All right, Matthew Warren there. With us still in spirit and on air, at times anyway. Coming up next for you here on France 24, we'll have the latest news. Plus, all this week, we've been reporting, of course, on the mass protests in Ukraine, as the country says it will not sign up to agreements with Europe today. Moldova, though, has said it will. We're going to be reporting from the small country, sandwiched between Ukraine and Romania, to find out why.